It's the concept that sometimes bad stuff happens to good people. It's the concept of, when I borrowed this money, I didn't intend to get sick. I didn't intend to lose my job. I didn't intend to get a divorce. I didn't intend for my husband, who was the primary wage earner, to pass away, or my wife, who was the primary wage earner, to pass away. I didn't intend for any of these bad things to happen. When we were in the foreclosure meltdown, and Florida was one of the epicenters of the foreclosure meltdown a couple of years ago, people were saying we need to stop foreclosures. And I kept saying that's the wrong attitude, because you're not going to stop foreclosures until you stop divorces. You're not going to stop foreclosures until you stop people from getting divorced. You're not going to stop foreclosures until you stop people from dying. And because those things are never going to stop, you're never going to stop foreclosures. And I think by the same token, you're never going to stop bankruptcies, at least here in the U.S., and it gives people that safety net. It gives them the second bite at the apple. For the people that say, I want to pay my debt back, I just refunded a lady the majority of her money. She retained me in 2016 to file a bankruptcy, but over the next 2 years got back on her feet, paid down her debt, got better jobs, got side income, got investment income, got all this other stuff. Now she doesn't need to file bankruptcy. So I refunded her a majority of her retainer. My retainer letters say if I do work on your file, I get to keep a little bit of it. But, great. You don't have to file bankruptcy. That's fantastic.
Right.
Here's your money back. Great. You don't have to file. But because we're never going to stop those other things from happening, I don't think we're ever going to stop bankruptcies. It's there for people that need that clean slate and that second chance.
No, I think that's very well said, and I'm sure you see and there exist abuses of the bankruptcy laws. Anytime you have a rule, you'll find people that are going to take advantage of the rule and break the spirit of what is intended. But I think in the vast majority of instances, we don't want people in this country to have a setback and have to have that stick with them for the rest of their lives. You want people to be able to reset, have a fresh start. And candidly, Shawn, I think you would agree we're from the same generation. This is in America's DNA, is to root for the underdog, to root for somebody that was down and comes back. I mean, how many movies have we seen in sports that are based on that cliche? But it's a powerful one. And I think it translates to the bankruptcy laws in a more financial sense. And you want entrepreneurs to be innovative and to take chances, because that helps create a dynamic economy that is really a benefit to all of us. So I think the people that complain too loudly about bankruptcy laws probably haven't thought through the implications of not allowing people to reset, get a second chance, a second bite of the apple, like you had said. It would do so much more harm than good. So I'm glad there's people like you out there to help folks get themselves some help, recover, and hopefully lead productive lives after filing bankruptcy.
Yeah, and I also do draw the line. So I'm not going to file a bankruptcy for everybody. I had a potential client, and I felt really bad. He came to me to file bankruptcy, and I think it would have been his 5th or 6th bankruptcy case. I hadn't been involved in any of the previous ones, but he was asking me to file for the 5th or 6th time. And not only that, but he was asking me to file because he owned a home, and the debt on the home was in someone else's name. Well, number one, a bankruptcy is not going to do anything for that type of situation. Number two, it's your 5th or 6th, and I turned him away. I can't help those type, because at the same time, I've got a reputation within the bankruptcy court. One of the reasons I wanted to stay in bankruptcy when I left the foreclosure mill, when I went off on my own, one of the reasons I wanted to stay in bankruptcy court is it's the type of bar that we would hear about in law school, where when we're in court, we are literally making the best argument we can for the client. We are at each other's throats. We are arguing to the best of our ability to the judge. But when the hearing's over, we can go out and have a beer. We can go out and have a good time. I can call that attorney and say, hey, attorney A, I'm having this issue with attorney B. What do you think? And discuss those issues. It's a very collegial bar association, the bankruptcy bar here in Tampa. And so I've got that reputation to protect as well. I don't want to be filing frivolous things. With the judges as well, I mean, I know some of the state court judges here in Pinellas and in Hillsborough County, Clearwater, Tampa area, St. Petersburg area. I know a handful of the judges, and I think a handful of the judges would either recognize my name, maybe recognize me on site. Every single one of the bankruptcy judges here in Tampa would recognize me. And so I've got that reputation to protect where I don't want to file frivolous things either. Plus, you've always got the threat of sanctions. If you do file something frivolous, the bankruptcy court's going to come down on you and sanction you for that action.
And it would violate what you talked about at the beginning of the show. If you are really interested in protecting people from bullies, financial bullies, if you're representing people that are clearly gaming the system and being abusive and operating in the gray areas of the law in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's just probably not worth it.
Yeah, I'm becoming the bully that I want to protect people against.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, listen, our time flew by. Thank you so much. For individuals that are listening, especially I have lots of listeners as well as clients of Elliott Wealth Management Services in Florida. How could they get more information about you as well as your terrific podcast?
Yeah, I appreciate that. The easiest way is just to go to the website, which is yesnerlaw.com, YESNER law.com. All of my blogs are there. A lot of my YouTube videos are there. All of the podcasts get updated there, so you can go there. The podcast is also on all the major players. So it's on Apple Podcast, it's on Spotify, it's on Stitcher, you can get it through Alexa and Siri, and all the artificial intelligence ladies love me, so you can get it there as well. Those would be the two things I would recommend. You can go directly to the YouTube page. I'd love to get more subscribers to the YouTube page and to the podcast itself. But everything I think starts with, everything is designed to funnel back to the Yesner Law website. That's where most of the information is going to be. There's a place to contact us and all that information.
Beautiful. Well, thanks again for taking some time. I really enjoyed the subject. And if anybody's out there and they're under tremendous financial pressure and are burdened by debt, please know there's options out there. There's help. If you're in Florida, the Yesner Law Firm is an excellent option to get some help and information, and I'm sure there are excellent attorneys if you happen not to be in Florida and need that kind of help. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Simply Financial Podcast. I'll be back with you very soon on an upcoming episode. In the meantime, while you're visiting the Yesner Law Firm website and checking Shawn out, please check out my website, which is www.elliottwealth.com. You could get episodes of my podcast, the Simply Financial Podcast, as well as sign up for an initial no-cost complimentary consultation, because if you're not a client of ours already, we would love to listen to what your goals and objectives are and see if we could help you win with money. Thanks again. I'll be back with you soon.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of SagePoint Financial Incorporated and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note, the information being provided is strictly as a courtesy. When you link to any of the websites provided here, you are leaving this website. We make no representation as to the completeness or accuracy of the information provided at these websites, nor is the company liable for any direct or indirect technical or system issues or any consequences arising out of your access to your use of third-party technologies, websites, information, and programs made available through this website. When you access one of these websites, you are leaving our website and assume total responsibility and risk for your use of the websites you are linking to. Securities and advisory services are offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Insurance services offered through Elliott Wealth Management, LLC, not affiliated with SagePoint Financial.
Simply Financial is part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find Exvadio podcasts at exvadio.com/podcast, the Apple Podcasts app, iTunes Store, iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts. So join us and stay informed and entertained.